A very good morning, students. Our session of Financial Management 1. Now, as far as our previous session was concerned, in the last session we discussed about the determinants, the factors that directly affects the decision about capital structure. So, now today we'll discuss about different patterns of capital structure. Now there are total 4 patterns through which any organization can build their capital structure, and these patterns are totally differ from organization to organization because it totally depends the nature, the working style, the financial position, the financial requirement of organization. So there are four patterns. Under that we'll discuss the first one, capital structure with equity shares only. Now in this pattern, organization is going to raise their external capital through equity shares only. Now, in this capital structure, organization is not going to include any other source of finance. They only rely upon the equity shares, and through equity they are going to build their whole capital structure. Now, but obvious, this structure is suitable for those organizations who want to raise maximum capital for the long period of time, and when the earning of the organization is not stable. If they are not stable in their earning, then they are not able to pay timely dividend or interest to their investors. So for that reason, organization is not going to issue preference or debenture because the earning is not stable. So this pattern is useful for those organizations who are totally new in a capital market and who wants to establish themselves in the near future, because as far as if the organization is there in the market for number of years, so if the organization is getting older in our market, so there will be a stability in their earning. But if the organization is new, then we are not sure about the financial position of the organization and the earning capacity of the organization. So these structure is, again I am going to repeat myself, that this structure is suitable for those organization who want to raise a long term capital and a huge capital itself, because when you are going to raise equities, then you are able to get the benefit of huge capital at a time, and then after it is useful for those company whose earning is not yet stable. So if the earning is not stable, then the company is not able to pay a regular dividend or interest to their investors. So let's discuss about merits and demerits of capital structure with equity shares only. Yes, I want to mention one thing, that in your book the advantages and limitations are already there, so we are going to follow that one. So in these presentation I am not included any merits and demerits, we just discuss merits and demerits orally. So first advantage, that it is simple and understandable to all investors. Yes, when the capital structure is only one capital, then it is really very simple and it is going to be understood by each and every investor if they are totally unaware about the capital market. So these capital structure is simple and easy to understand. Second one, the directors of the company have greater discretion in declaration of dividend and building up of reserve funds, etc. Now, as far as equities are concerned, there is no compulsion to pay dividend to our equity shareholders. So, it is beneficial to the organization, and the directors of the company, they are able to build a huge capital on the basis of their reserve fund. It is only possible when in a capital structure we include only one source, that is equity shares only. Then after, third one, since there are no fixed charges, there is no danger to the existence of the company even in a bad time. Yes, but obvious, there is no obligation to the organization, that is to pay regular dividend to our equity shareholders. So, when in a worst situation, when the earning of the company goes down, so at that time there is no burden to the organization for paying regular dividend to their shareholders. Then after, fourth advantage is the credit standing of the company is enhanced as it bear no burden of payment of fixed interest and dividend. Yes, credit worthiness of the company will go high, because here organization is not obliged for paying any fixed interest or dividend to their investors, and here creditors are willing to lend money to the company in which the borrowed capital is minimum and equities are maximum. It directly enhances the credit worthiness of our organization. Then after, fifth one, in the absence of debentures, there is no burden of fixed charges on the asset of the company. Yes, here we are talking about the mortgage, the obligation, the liability, because when company want to raise capital through debenture, so at that time they are putting some securities on mortgage, and when the mortgage is there, so it will be having a fixed charges on company's assets. But as far as equities are concerned, in to raise equity, organization need to raise capital by putting their securities or by putting their fixed assets on any securities. So there is no burden of fixed charges on the assets of the company. Then after, the sixth one, some constraints are imposed on the management of the company when preference and debentures are there. But when only equity shares are issued, management enjoy full freedom of decision making. Yes, when there is preference and debenture in our capital structure, so here our director is not able to take freely decision as far as preference and debentures are concerned. But if there is only equities in our capital structure, so at that time the company's director enjoy full freedom of decision making. Then after, seventh point, Long established companies can procure additional capital also through issue of right shares. Yes, when equities are there, then the company is able to raise their additional capital with the issue of right shares. So, here the cost of equity will be minimum to minimum if the company choose the option to raise their capital through right shares. So, it will become one of the best option for their additional capital raising option. And the last one, eighth merit is it is not compulsory for the company to return the equity shares during its existence. This is one of the best advantages in capital structure with equity only, that in any situation company is not going to return their equity shares during its existence. So company will enjoy the whole equity capital throughout the lifelong of the organization. So these are the main advantages of capital structure with equity shares only. Now let's discuss about the demerits, the limitations of capital structure with equity shares only. The first one is cost of financing is relatively more, especially for the new or weak company, as the cost of capital of equity share is higher as compared to preference and debentures. So when the organization is new and if the financial position of the company is not strong, so at that time the cost of equity will become burdensome for the organization who is new or who is financially weak in the market. Second one, the company lose the benefits of trading on equity. Yes, trading on equity means the option where company gets maximum investor with the different perception. Here, company do not get the benefit of trading on equity. Means here company gets those shareholders or those investors who are risky in the nature. So here the investors are totally limited to the organization. And again, the investors do not get variety of investment option in our organization because we are offering only a single pattern, that is we are offering only equity shares to our investors. So here investors are least interested in investment in our organization because they do not get any kind of options, any kind of varieties in our company because we offer only equity shares. So here company do not get benefits of trading on equity, means the investors are totally limited, company is not able to serve each and every class of investors with the single pattern. Then after, third demerit is in weak companies, the interest of the existing shareholders are adversely affected if additional capital is continuously obtained through the issue of equity shares only. As the company is not paying dividend to their equity shareholder and company still raises their additional capital through equity only. So at that time, the existing shareholders do not get the benefit of dividend, because if the additional shares are there, then the whole dividend is divided amongst the total shareholders of the company. So the proportion of dividend of our existing shareholders will be minimized if company raises additional capital through again equity shares only. So it is one of the major disadvantages to the equity shareholders if company continuously raises their capital through equity shares. Then after fourth one, when the company issues additional equity shares, it has to grant to the existing shareholders a right to purchase them on a priority basis. Hence, managerial control may get concentrated into a few hands. Definitely, if company raises their additional capital with the issue of right shares, and if the existing shareholders they are purchasing the additional capital of the company, then definitely their proportion in the total capital will go high, and on the basis of that they are getting the maximum powers in the managerial decisions. So somehow it is adversely affect the decision making of our directors, because in equities we are giving voting rights to our shareholders. So if they are getting the additional power, then they means the equity shareholders can run the business with their maximum voting rights. So it is not good for the company. And the last one, that the existing shareholders will have to purchase majority of the additional equity shares to strengthen their control over the company. So if it is a mentality of our shareholders that is to control the organization by purchasing additional equity shares of the same company, so at that time the investors they are not able to get variety for their investment purpose. So if company raises additional capital and if they issue the debentures, but the existing shareholders will not get the benefit of debenture because they want to strengthen their control over the company by the purchase of additional equities of the same company. So it does not give any kind of financial benefits to our existing shareholders. So this is the first pattern. Here our first pattern is completed, that is capital structure with equity shares only. Now let's discuss about the second pattern, that is capital structure with equity and preference shares. Now in this pattern, organization is in focus to attract more investors, and if the company offers variety of investment avenues, so definitely company can attract both types of investors. The investors who are risky in the nature, so they will prefer equities, and the investors who are the risk seeker and they want the regular income from their investment, so they will prefer preference shares of our company. So definitely this is again the best pattern to attract our majority investors in the market, and the company is able to serve their investors by paying regular and timely dividend to their preference shareholders. And again, if the company's earning is stable, then they can easily raise their capital through preference shares, and they can enjoy the long term capital with the issue of equity shares. So now let's discuss the merits and demerits of capital structure with equity and preference shares. First merit. Company's capital structure will appear to investors of different attitude. As we already discussed that company is able to attract each and every class of investors with the combinations of two different capitals. Second one, benefits of trading on equity are available. So here company is able to serve the market with the different investment option. So the company is able to get the benefits of trading on equity, because now company is able to serve the whole capital market with the different investment options. So company is able to focus on the maximum investors with the different varieties. Then after third one, the capital structure of the company is made more economical because it is usually cheaper to raise capital with preference shares than with equity shares. So ultimately, the cost of capital of our preference share with our equity share capital is lower. So the company gets the benefit of cost of equities plus cost of preference. Fourth one, preference shareholders have no voting right. Hence, control over the management of the company can be maintained, and at the same time, additional capital can be obtained. As we all know that our preference shareholders do not have any voting rights. So, with this combination of equity and preference share, the company is able to maintain their managerial control by issuing additional capital and can enjoy the strong financial position without ruling their managerial control in the hand of only equity shareholders. Then after fifth point, during difficult times. There is no fixed burden on the company because payment of dividend on both types of share is not compulsory. Yes, as company is paying regular and timely dividend to preference shareholders, but the dividend to preference shareholder is not compulsory. And when there is recession in the market and when the company's earning is lower, at that time there is no fixed burden on company to pay dividend to their both types of shares in the worst situation. Then after sixth point, if the company has issued redeemable preference shares, the company can return this capital when it has enough funds. Thus, the company can get rid of the burden of dividend payment. Yes, as we all know that in redeemable preference share, the company will return the preference capital on the date of its maturity. So, in a near future, there is no financial burden of paying preference dividend to our preference shareholders if company choose the option to issue their capital with redeemable preference shares. And seventh advantages is all the advantages of capital structure with equity shares only are available in this type. So, as we already discussed earlier, in capital structure with equity, that all benefits are available in this pattern also. Now, let's discuss about demerits of capital structure with equity and preference shares. The first one is this type of capital structure become burdensome during depression. Yes, when company raises their capital by issuing cumulative preference shares, so at that time it is really very burdensome for the company with this kind of pattern, because in cumulative preference share the company is going to pay a compulsory preference dividend to their preference shareholders in any situation or in any worst financial position of the company. So it is very difficult to pay dividend when the financial position of the company is not strong. Second one, in computation of income tax, interest paid on debenture is regarded as expenditure and therefore it is deductible, while dividend paid on preference shares are not deductible. Thus, full benefits of trading on equity are not available. Yes, the preference dividend is not tax free. So, company do not get full benefits of trading on equity because company is going to pay heavy tax when they are paying preference dividends to their preference shareholders. Then after, third disadvantages is some of the restrictive provisions of the preference shares curtail directors' freedom. Yes, there are few provisions when the company raises their capital through preference share. So at that time, by taking the decision for raising their capital through preference share, definitely curtail the directors' freedom by taking various decisions. Then after fourth one, the interest rate of preference dividend is comparatively higher as compared to interest rate on debentures, because here company want to attract their shareholders by offering a higher rate of dividends to them. So ultimately it is again a burdensome for the company, that is to pay higher dividend to their preference shareholders, and the debentures are getting the lower interest rate, and also in the issue of debenture the company gets the benefit of tax exemptions. And the last one is preference shareholders are not given voting rights, but in some situation preference shareholders have a right to take the decisions in the managerial aspects. So ultimately it is not benefited to the company to raise both the capital through equity and through preference share, because ultimately both the shareholders can run the business with their additional powers. So it's about capital structure with equity and preference shares. I hope you are getting the point. So today we'll discuss only two patterns. In the next session we'll have the discussion on capital structure with equity and debentures, and capital structure with equity, preference and debentures in detail. So that's all for today's session. Hope you all are clear about it. Thank you. Thank you so much.